Hi, I'm Barry Spielman, Product Marketing Director for ERP at Priority Software, and welcome to another edition of Priority's Coffee Break, where we speak with senior management and stakeholders to give you, our audience, insights into the power of Priority ERP. And today, I'm very happy to have with me our Chief Product Officer, Keren Sherer. Thank you so much for joining me on Coffee Break.
Glad to be here.
Great. So, Keren, we are seeing that the incredible speed in which technology is changing and the adoption of AI is really changing things, and companies are scrambling to meet expectations or take the lead in it, and there's also a lot of hype out there. But AI isn't the only driver of ERP, and today I want to really talk about the larger trends, what we're hearing from our customers, where we see the market going, AI included, but not exclusively. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about, and so let's just dive right into it. So let me ask you this. What are the biggest changes you're hearing or we're hearing from our customers in the past year?
Organizations are facing an ever-changing reality. So they are looking for a business application that is adaptive, personalized, flexible, open. They cannot imagine what is going to be tomorrow.
Right.
And it's not enough to have a system that supports their core needs today. What they need is something that will support and scale with them in the future. So actually what they are looking for is something that will grow up with them. Of course, something that is much more sophisticated than they used to have, with insight and AI and many other trends.
So beyond AI, which we'll get into, what are the other major trends that we're seeing in the ERP space?
It's quite surprising, but cloud, it's still a main trend in the ERP arena. It's surprising because it's here since ever.
Right,
It's not a new thing.
It's not new.
It's not new. But we keep seeing organizations that are still on-prem and they have like fear or resistance to go to the cloud. But when we're looking to the future, there is no question. Cloud is a thing. And if we are talking about AI, although we are not talking about AI today, not yet. But if we're talking about AI, so cloud and AI are going together. Cloud, it's not the only thing. We talked about flexibility and about openness and other platform capabilities of Priority. But when we are talking about flexibility, the idea is to give tools to the customer and his user. The way to do it is to provide them with low-code, no-code capabilities, and this one is another trend that we find in the ERP.
Because that allows organizations to grow together, to be flexible, adaptable, be able to do that stuff on their own without having to be ERP experts and all that.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So let's get into a question about AI, because we really can't avoid it. Okay. So how do you see the role of traditional ERP evolving in an AI-driven world? I mean, it's a fact, right? That's where we are, right?
As far as we see it in Priority, AI is not just another feature. AI is a robust platform component. It's all over the place. It means it's part of the flexibility, it's part of the experience, it's part of the openness, and of course, it's part of the functionality. That means that the ERP is like the single source of truth. It will have to change things with the data architecture to be able to take data from other places and to give insight about them. But the idea is that ERP is still the main core business processes of every organization.
So you're sort of preempting my question I was going to ask. So is the traditional ERP on the decline or not, the opposite?
Not the opposite.
Okay.
The ERP is under evolution. That means that the role of ERP is changing. It's already changed on the previous years, talking about Composable ERP and the fact that we have connectivity and openness to the outside world, and ERP should talk in a standard language with other applications.
Right, okay.
But when we are going to AI, it's getting worse or better, depends on how you look.
Huh? Okay.
ERP is still the core, the single source of truth, the one that syncs all the business processes from all business applications or AI agents. And that's what organizations need.
And that's where it's headed. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. What steps is Priority as a company taking to make ERP more agile or more adaptable given all the changes that we've been talking about?
Besides AI.
Besides AI. We'll get that yet. No, we're not going to get to that much more, but yeah, besides AI.
So openness and connectivity is part of our platform strategy on the last few years. When we are talking about openness and connectivity, we are talking about the fact that ERP is not anymore the one and the only one. It's not the monolith that take care of all the business processes and all the business needs.
It's not the only game in town.
No,
there's others.
Not at all.
Okay.
What an ERP needs is the right tools to connect to other business applications. Okay. So it will be a seamless flow for the user or for the organization to have their insight and their automations and their process going on. We're talking about API. API is the traditional and the existing way to connect to other business application in a common language. But when we are going to the AI, we're also talking about MCP.
This is a very important concept. We're hearing it more and more. Maybe just go a little bit, explain what it is, what it stands for. What does MCP stand for?
MCP, it's Model Context Protocol. Okay. And that's mean like API, okay. But the connector here on the other side is LLM algorithms.
Okay, okay.
Those are the tools that enable us to talk and chat with the system with a Gen AI experience, like everybody used to do with ChatGPT, Claude, and all others. New friends that we have.
New friends. All right, so talking about buzzwords, like MCP is another buzzword that's been out there, and for a while, Composable ERP. Actually, Gartner, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the things that they talk about all the time. So what's your feeling on Composable ERP? Where are we with that? Is it important? Is it getting more important? Where do we stand?
Composable ERP is very important.
Okay.
This is the future of business application. I would say composable of business application, not just the ERP. Okay. The idea here, as we just said, that there is no business application that's going to stay the monolith. Not the CRM, not the ERP. There are many business applications that need to talk and sync with each other. So composable ERP is very relevant when we're talking about AI agents and other business applications. It's very important, but it's not instead of the subject matter expertise.
Okay.
That means that when you're talking about specific vertical or industries such as high-tech or manufacturing or retail, they still expect the system to be best of the breed for their needs. So it's like a combination between the fact that we start with the best practices and then we can, with all that platform flexibility tools, can adapt the system to our own needs as an organization.
So with all the changes going on, is another buzzword that you hear a lot about, vendor locked-in, and not everyone likes to be in that situation. But what is Priority doing to help companies either avoid it or live with it? What's our stance on that?
We believe in connectivity and openness. I just mentioned it when I talked about the platform strategy. Okay. Right. So when we're talking about openness and connectivity, we're talking about the fact that ERP is not a monolith anymore. And it's not necessarily the one and the only one solution that organizations have. And there is no need for vendor lock. Because we provide with the system an API, the system is open, and our customers can just decide whether they want to use the relevant functionality from Priority ERP or if they want to integrate or to connect to another dedicated system, such as CRM, BI, payroll. We have all those functionalities inside the system, but there are some organizations that want not to be locked in. It's relevant also to AI agent, whether they use our AI capabilities or they want to connect to other AI benefits. This is part of the composable ERP concept.
Okay, so what steps is Priority as an organization, as a company, taking to make ERP more agile or more adaptable?
Our product strategy is ERP as a platform, and that means that we're talking about major, robust engine components and functionality on top of that. When we're talking about platform components, we're first of all talking about flexibility. That's the part of customization, low code, no code. We are also talking about SaaS and cloud and all those capabilities. We're talking about openness and connectivity, the fact that we can connect to other business applications.
Okay.
And we are also talking about experience. Experience is one of the main challenges that ERP and business applications that are rich with functionality need to take care of. And in the last few years, we are putting a lot of attention on the experience side of the system, understanding that there are different users. There are the traditional users. They have new set of expectations. They want the system to work for them, to be more automated, to be more personalized. We have new users, such as external users, vendors, customers, employees.
People who aren't ERP savvy, right? But they need to use the system, but they don't necessarily know how.
Exactly. So they need a system to be much more intuitive. But how can you take that complex, rich functionality system and make it intuitive? That's the experience part. And we are putting a lot of attention on that, as I just mentioned.
All right, so last two questions before I let you go. So what are the challenges you see clients, customers of ours, facing in digital transformation? What are they going through?
Customer want AI. They like to say AI, but there is no specific goal come with that AI buzzword. Actually, they want AI, but they fear and they have no trust, and there is a lot of resistance from the employees and teams. One can argue that some of the people in the organization fear that AI maybe replace them in their job.
It's a legitimate fear.
I personally not believe in that. I believe they will have to change something to be the companion with AI.
It'll strengthen their roles, actually. You hear that as well, but it's a legitimate fear, right? You got to do
it is.
Okay.
And there are ways to handle that fear and that trust. For the trust, we should explain our organization that it's not really autonomous, only AI and digital transformation. We keep the human in the loop. It's business decisions, and we want people in the organization to take part of the processes. So the AI will stop and ask them, is that what you wanted to do? Do you confirm that specific transaction? This is one way to handle it. There are other ways of education and training and provide them with relevant skills, because the AI probably will not replace them, but people who use AI maybe will be the one that replace them. We can also talk about data. There are sometimes messy data in organization, in systems. So when it comes to AI, we want the right insight or something that will support our decision. We want something that is accurate, and we have to do something with the messy data that sometimes different system has.
Okay. All right, so last question for you. What's the one piece of advice that you would give, to organizations that are now looking to implement an ERP system? I don't know if it's the first time or they're upgrading from another system, but what would you tell them?
Did I mention flexibility?
I did.
I think I did. So flexibility, it's the tip for businesses, because we need something that will grow up and scale up with our businesses. We can never know what is going to change tomorrow, and it will be relevant for our users that I just talked about them. We cannot know what is going to be the business models, the territories that we are working on, and we need to be ready with tools that will support any change that will happen. So please, if you want to choose something today, do it, but in a way that you will be able to support your organization tomorrow.
Excellent. So I think you've given a great understanding here of what's going on, the trends we're seeing, what our customers are saying, and my takeaway, at least, that ERP is deeply rooted in flexibility and intelligence, and ERP, as we know it, is developing, and it's going to be moving from a system of records to a system of intelligence, right? So that I would say that. Keren Sherer, Chief Product Officer at Priority Software, thank you so much for joining me today on the Coffee Break. And to our audience, thank you too for joining us in this episode of Coffee Break, and we invite you to join us in future episodes where we'll be talking with stakeholders and senior management to provide you with insights about the power of Priority ERP. Thank you, and see you next time.